It's the Bush League Mud Show.
It's the Bush League Mud Show. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Make some noise!
Yo, what is going on? It is another edition of the Bush League Mud Show. Slade.
PJ.
Coming at you November 2nd, coming at you for a Monday Night Raw / NXT 2.0 review. Again, we wanted to do the Raw review, and then we figure we just stack them up and just bang them out. Boom, boom.
And we decided to put ourselves through punishment and watch NXT.
Well, I got to tell you, Raw, for the most part, the first hour wasn't too bad. They gave you a match out of the gate, something that, hey, how about that? You actually advertised a big-time matchup, and you put it on first for once. Although, after watching that match, we didn't really get any more cliffhangers to end the show or towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should have been your main event. NXT 2.0, they had an opportunity to feed or whatever you want to call that from last week with Halloween Havoc. They had a chance to build some momentum off of that. And yes, I get it. You're going against the NBA. You're going against Game 6 of the World Series, but still, no excuse. You still got to pump something into the product to get us to give a fuck about NXT 2.0. I feel that they failed miserably on that. We're going to touch on that. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Social media, follow us. We promise we will follow back at Bush League MS Pod on social media. Monday Night Raw, before we get into that, there was some news that actually dropped a little bit ago that is in regards to Jon Moxley. It appears that Jon Moxley, through Tony Khan releasing a statement, it appears that Jon Moxley is going to be in basically going to rehab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a story that Jon Moxley is reportedly entering an inpatient program for alcohol treatment. Tony Khan, he took to Twitter earlier tonight and revealed that Moxley is indeed going to be going to rehab. And he noted that Moxley is actually the one that allowed him to go ahead and make that announcement. He also put out what seemed to come across as a genuine, heartfelt care type of tweet in regards to Jon Moxley and his health. Right now, we don't know any additional details. We're not aware of really any kind of issues that have arisen over the last however long that this has been brewing.
There's been some things coming here and there out. The ladder match a couple weeks ago, Moxley has recently said he did not want to be in that match. Tony Khan put him in that match. Now, I don't know if, like I said, it doesn't have anything really to do with this, but I'm just saying there's little bits here that have been coming out that maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, because he said he absolutely hates ladder matches. He says it'll screw your back up, bone chips in your elbow, and this is the guy that does the death match stuff. And he said he did not want to be in that ladder match, and he tried getting himself pulled out of that. He went to Tony Khan and said, I do not want to be in that ladder match. But Tony's like, hey, I need some star power in this match. And he said, well, Tony's my boss, so I had to go out and do it. So, I mean, there was a little of that, but I didn't see this coming. But, the character, the way they wanted the character, dark, edgy kind of guy. Now, you didn't really see him on screen drinking or anything like doing an Austin thing or even what Hangman Page does, but I don't know when he was coming to the ring and all that. He was in character, but he was, I don't know. It was in a weird mood, weird state. Maybe this is part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like this was Moxley's decision to get help.
Yeah, and that's good.
And that's good, and that's cool. And Tony Khan acknowledged that this was Jon making a very brave choice, and things have changed for Jon Moxley in the last couple of years. He's got married, and he's got a daughter now, and I think I saw something earlier in the week that he and Renee have put their house up for sale. The house, I'm going to assume, the house in Vegas, which I found to be pretty. I thought their house would be a lot more than what they've put it on the market for. I think I saw something between $400,000 and $600,000. Not that really. Yeah, it was just something that kind of flashed up. But anyways, Jon making the responsible decision and getting help right now. So this is something that's been acknowledged as a good thing by Tony Khan. And this is, I believe Moxley, if I'm not mistaken, he was scheduled to face Orange Cassidy. I think that was the match for the Eliminator tournament on tomorrow Dynamite episode, and the winner is going to be facing, it looks like going to be advancing to the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view to face Bryan Danielson.
The rumor was, that's where Mox was going to do more of a heel turn on Danielson. That was going to be the lead-up rumor, supposedly.
Yeah, I was really starting to think we were probably going to end up seeing a CM Punk, Daniel Bryanson tag team, and maybe Moxley and Kingston based on what we saw on Rampage last Friday with the exchange with Danielson defeating Kingston, and then Kingston have a jaw-jacking of words in the back with CM Punk. I thought maybe that would be where you would see maybe Moxley and Kingston kind of be more of the heels if there was something like that. But anyways, for Jon Moxley, we wish him the best. Hope he gets better with Monday Night Raw. Getting on to that, this episode coming in Providence. They were in Providence for this at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. And as we mentioned earlier, this Raw, it opened immediately with a video package. They had announced that this match was going to go down. It was going to be the champ, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, continuing that feud. We knew that was going to continue after they both got drafted over from SmackDown. Gave you the video package. Then we went straight to Belair in the back. She's warming up. And Sarah Schreiber approached her, talked to her about the rivalry, if it was actually going to be the final blow-off, if it was going to come to a head. Belair, she talked about how she wasn't ready at SummerSlam. She prepared for Sasha Banks. Yeah. Sasha Banks unable to compete for whatever reason, and Becky Lynch coming back after having the baby, after being gone for a little over a year. She, talked about how Lynch always had been a great champ, but somehow lost sight of what it takes to be a great champion. After her side of it, she ends up making her way down to the ring, and then we go back to backstage, and now this time not Jimmy Smith, but Becky Lynch is then asked about what she expects out of this match, and she continued to down Bianca Belair and talk about how she only was able to get what she got because Lynch had been gone for over a year and was pregnant. She talked about how difficult it was to come back from her pregnancy and how the fans booed her again. We're still on the whole delusional that the fans booed Becky Lynch on sight, which no, that's not. No. But this is what they want you to buy into. Lynch, she gave Belair credit, but again, continued to make it about her. We end up going to the ring, and they built this to be a big-time matchup to get you immediately immersed into Raw. We had ring announcer Mike Rome. He actually had to stand inside the ring and make the announcements of the champ and the challenger before the match. And both wrestlers, now remember, Lynch said she was getting booed. No, they both got cheered.
Yes.
They both got cheered.
That's the problem with this whole program. I mean, there is no really heel, Becky's trying to act heel, but again, it's the Stone Cold effect. You're gonna get cheered. People love you. That's the thing.
Belair, she ended up shoving Lynch to the mat. I thought it would be maybe the other way around, maybe Lynch sneaking in a cheap shot, but that wasn't how it went. Lynch did slap her. She slapped her in the face, and then we go back and forth. And this was in terms of how they work, though, they did work like true babyface and heel. Yeah. We got to see a lot of Bianca Belair's athleticism, her strength and everything. Yes. That got loud pops from the crowd. Lynch continued to try to go for the disarmer. Yep. She was unable to do that. Every time she went for it, Belair, she was able to power out of it, and at one point had Lynch on her shoulders, and then they both tumbled to the outside. Lynch, again, going for the disarmer. That was coming out of the commercial break. We fast forward this thing. Belair, she rolled to the floor. Lynch with the slide kick, but then Belair was able to catch her, dropped her onto the announce table. It finally got the action back into the ring, and Belair, she covered Lynch for a 2 count, tried again, and then we continued to go at it, and then we got to near the end of this match where Belair, she went to the top and went for a move that Lynch was able to avoid. Showing off the athleticism again, Belair, she was able to land on her feet. They fought in the corner, and Bianca went for the KOD. She was unsuccessful because Becky was able to hold on to the top turnbuckle, which then came off. Becky used that to her advantage. She slipped away, shoved Bianca Belair into the exposed turnbuckle, then rolled her up and held the tights to score the pin. So there you go, Becky Lynch defeating Bianca Belair to retain the Raw Women's Championship. What did you think of this match? I thought it was a good match, solid finish. You needed some type of controversy still. And it was, I think more than anything, it was just good to see WWE just kind of deliver as advertised and give it to you on the opening segment, which is rare of what this kind of against the Raw norm over the last couple of years. We want to give you that 20 minutes of dialogue every fucking week. So,
yeah, I mean, that was unique that they started off that way. Again, the booking here, though, I don't understand it because I don't know who you're trying to position more. I mean, these are both of your big faces of Raw.
It was like this was
now.
booked more as an angle than a match.
Exactly, and it's not like, okay, well, now where do we go from here? Bianca's now on a big-time losing streak, and it's like, I don't know.
It did protect Bel Air, though. It gave him an out.
It did with the screw job again, but we've already given her an out with the I only had 26 seconds.
And the sucker punch,
Because now she's going to come off sound like, well, she's whining and making excuses all the time, which she's not. I mean, she's fantastic in these matches. They told a good story with going for the disarmer and all that good stuff. And like you said, it was refreshing that they started right out of the gate with a match. But the booking has got me all thrown off on this. And I don't... Are they going to have another rematch next week? Because that's been the Raw formula. Are they going to have like 3 more rematches until Survivor Series and then have the blow-off? I mean, that's the problem I'm having.
Yeah. Backstage, we got Kevin Patrick. He was interviewing the Mysterios. And Austin Theory, he showed up once again, spoke about how it was an honor to enter the ring with Rey as they were going to be facing one another. And then he was very condescending. Austin Theory, they've done a pretty good job of making him just kind of be that shit-eating grin type of heel. He said that he wanted to beat Rey just like he beat his son Dominik the previous week. And they continued to go back and forth. Rey said that he's seen guys like Austin Theory come around a lot over the years, trying to use Rey to make a name for themselves. But Rey said that all those names, they faded away over the years. And then Theory, of course, took the selfie as the Mysterios were ready to make their entrance down to the ring. We got that. Went into a commercial break. We get a few minutes into the match, and Austin Theory showing his inner Lex Luger on Rey Mysterio, hit him with a torture rack.
Yes, he did.
This was mainly a match to kind of show Austin Theory. Even though he was in the ring with Rey the entire time, the highlight really of what they're trying to shine a spotlight on is Theory and Dominik.
Yes,
and
you
Rey
could tell
is being used as the bridge for that, and they're also kind of trying to drop little breadcrumbs and make you think that there's something going on with the father and son combination, because how this match ended up ending, we had eventually Rey getting the upper hand. He was getting ready to hit a 619, but then Dominik slapped Austin Theory right before Rey hit 619, so the ref called it a DQ rather than count Rey's pin. So Austin Theory defeats Rey by disqualification. Match went a little bit over 10 minutes, and this was would you call it a smart DQ finish? It protects Rey. It keeps Theory strong. You didn't want him eating another loss because we've seen him already on the main roster lose a match with Jeff Hardy. So it creates issues between Rey and Dominik, as there's that going on, and eventually I see a Dominik Theory type of pay-per-view match. I don't know where Rey
what I would have liked is a Theory just straight up win over Rey, because, man, they were showcasing him in this match, and damn, is he good. He's athletic. He was, throwing out moves out there, and I'm like, damn, I forgot he could do this. He was doing some flips through the ropes and things like that onto the canvas, and I'm like, yeah, but you could tell, you always looking over the shoulder at Dominik, and that's the program coming up. But I was feeling, okay, they've got to start elevating this guy. The new stars thing, we've been hearing about it. This guy is one. I don't know if him and Dominik is something that moves the needle. Well, him and Rey, you give him a victory over Rey, you start building him, getting him up to that upper level. I see good things for Theory.
One of the moments of Raw that kind of irked me, well, it irked me big time, I'll just say that. We got a video package they show with Seth Rollins winning the 4-way ladder match the week before to become the number 1 contender. So once we show the video package, Rollins, he makes his way down to the ring. He's holding this contract, which looks even though it's a clipboard, it looks too much like Money in the Bank.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's kind of giving that Money in the Bank type vibe, and I don't think we really need that. But anyways, as he's coming down to the ring, we get an ad that airs for the Tribute to the Troops show. That's going to be airing November 14th on Fox.
Oh, so we're pushing it up a month this year. I know he's usually in December. Okay.
And it was just like one of those unnecessary breaks because you feel bad for the fans who are in attendance that have to sit there.
Yes.
If you've been in these live tapings, you know exactly when they've gone to commercial break, the music sometimes restarts twice, 3 times. It was just weird. And we come back and
you got the guy just sitting in the ring, just
and cackling in Rollins' case. And anyways, he was making fun of the fact he said he's typically not the type of person to toot his own horn. Of course, that got some boos and some bullshits out of it. But he talked about how he was drafted over to Raw to be the face of the brand, and he also talked about Big E a little bit. And then he teased reading the contract, but then Big E, he interrupts, he comes out. He says that he came out to congratulate Rollins from the week before, but then Rollins cackled in his face. And apparently Big E's aunt has had her eye on Seth Rollins, because Big E says that his aunt, of all people, told him that there was something deeply wrong with Seth Rollins' mind. Rollins then, he recalled challenging Big E to a title match the previous week, only to be told that he had to earn it. And then Rollins said that he even offered Big E that handshake, which he didn't accept. So Rollins, put over Big E some of, the wins over Lashley and McIntyre. But he said that Big E is not on his level. They are going back and forth. Rollins said that Big E does not know what the responsibility. He doesn't want the responsibility of being a champ. And then we got some jabs towards the New Day. He called King Woods a joke, and then he laughed about the whole Kofi Mania. This is what really got Big E riled up.
Yes, it did.
And he said that he would give Rollins everything he wants. Big E even offered the WWE Championship match during Raw, but Rollins, he worked up the crowd. Mm-hmm. And then he pulled the rug from underneath him. He claimed that he wasn't 100% because that ladder match took so much out of him. He said that he would have that match with Big E when he's ready and when he's 100%. Segment wasn't over, though. We found out Big E was going to end up defending that title one way or another. We got Kevin Owens making his entrance, and Rollins got upset about this, about Owens interrupting his time, and Owens put over Big E as a great champion. And made some remarks. He said it, made fun of Rollins talking about being the face of Raw, but said it his girl, even though he didn't call her his girl on air. Yeah. He brought up Becky Lynch claiming to be that Raw had more credibility than Rollins claiming to be. Mm-hmm. So he then went on and he even tongue in cheek, he made you aware about his contract situation in this promo as well. He talked about how he leaves everything in the ring and how it didn't work out for him last week, and he can't remember last time it did work out for him. He said it doesn't matter because he keeps fighting, and then he said it might be for 3 more months or 3 more years, but he said that he would give the fans something to remember. So after Owen said that, if Rollins didn't want the match, then he should get the hell out of the ring and let Big E face him for the first time ever. Rollins said that he loved the ideal, of course, because that, Yes. This is what we got. So a segment they didn't really, no silly, no goofy shit. I mean, unless you want to count Rollins as cackling. But I thought that was interesting that they okayed Owens to go out there and make, talk about his contract situation tongue in cheek. And look, I expect before he leaves, if he is leaving, I expect Kevin Owens one more time to turn heel anyways.
You think this is a Punk Owens kind of angle here, where Vince is like, okay, yeah, play with him a little bit with the contract.
It could be.
Like, go out there, let's rehash this, let's do this. It's been a while, so why not?
It could be. He's one of their, regardless of how you feel about Kevin Owens and his booking over the last couple of years, he is a guy that I got to say as of right now that they can't really afford to lose at this point.
No, they need him.
So Big E agreed to the match, and there we go. We got a match that's going to end up ending Raw. It's going to be Big E and Kevin Owens. We then got some highlights aired from earlier in the day. At least that's what they wanted to allude to. Queen Zelina Vega and Carmella, they're talking in the back, and they praised one another. And then they bump into Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash, and they made some condescending jokes about Nikki Ash's mask, and then they walk away, and then they start to mock her. And this entire time, Ripley and Nikki, they are able to hear the two, and they walked up on them and challenged them to a match, which Zelina and Carmella accepted, which I have no fucking idea why they did accept, because this was a non-title match.
Yes.
Apparently.
Now, again, props to Zelina. She's got the accent down, and she's
Is this a permanent thing, the British accent?
I like it. I do like that. She does have the crown, so she may as well go with it. So I did like that. But, yeah, too, you would think they're supposed to be the chicken shit heels where they talk in front of their back, but then with their face, oh, no. Oh, yeah, we'll take you on for not the titles. I mean, what the hell?
It didn't make any sense to me.
No.
And we immediately got right to it. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash, they make their entrance down to the ring. And then the broadcast team, they're hyping up Big E versus Owens for later on in the show. And then Vega and Carmella, they come down to the ring. We get this match underway. Carmella, she ends up slapping Ripley, who responded with a headbutt. And as this is going on, we go back to the backstage monitor, and we got Liv Morgan, Doudrop, Dana Brooke, and Tamina. They're all watching. And Vega and Carmella, they end up at ringside. Nikki Ash, she drives one of them from the apron. Then Carmella shoved Ripley face first into the ring post and then ran her into a barricade. And inside the ring, we get Nikki blocking Zelina Vega for a move, and then Carmella returns to the apron and holds Nikki, which was followed by Zelina Vega performing a code red on Nikki and pinning her. So there you go. We get a win for Zelina Vega and Carmella, as we should if it was going to be a non-title match.
Yeah.
And Nikki should be the one eating the pin. But that's where we are. So
put the damn titles on them and get them off, and let's get Rhea back on the program where she's a single star. I mean, right now, let's just get this over with.
Here's the thing. If you're Nikki Ash right now, though, you don't want this team being broken up.
Well, no, because that's
soon.
the last – yeah, exactly. This is the last gasp.
But they're hanging on by a thread anyways together. So we got Jimmy Smith and Byron Saxton there encouraging fans to keep voting for The Miz on Dancing with the Stars. Didn't The Miz, didn't he leave as a heel?
He did. Remember?
Why,
he
why
beat the hell out of Morrison. And why? And they're basically cross-promoting at the same time because this is airing at the same damn time as Raw. So, I mean, that's like you're promoting, which Vince would never do. Promote something that's running right now and vote for it. So, I guess, I mean, they've kept him on. I didn't see the results tonight, but I assume he's still on, so...
We get a backstage segment with Chad Gable and Otis. They're talking to Big E. Gable, they were talking about him graduating from Full Sail University, which I guess he actually did pursue another degree during the pandemic. He graduated, I want to say, in digital or more. I can't remember exactly, but he got a master's degree and was the class valedictorian, so a big step up from the Alpha Academy.
Yeah, well, I know that's another guy with a contract coming up. So, I mean, if he did something like that, he's obviously weighing all his options right now, too.
Yeah. He talked to Big E, and they were kind of going at it and talking about how Big E, he could do wonders with Big E, or that he could, or that Big E doesn't have what it takes to be the face of Raw. But had he been hanging out with him and took some advice and took the coaching of Chad Gable, he could definitely be the champ that he knows that he could be. Anyways, we move on with this. And the women's tag match, I got to say, kind of was a little bit of a buzzkill a little bit.
Yeah.
And then here's why. Because afterwards, we got a video package that aired promoting Veer, who has been with Jinder Mahal.
Yes.
Over the last several with Shanky.
Yes.
There's a video package to let you know that he is coming to Raw. So there you go. Veer, former $1 Million Arm contestant out of India, coming to Raw. Is this something that you give a shit for?
Well, if they do your booking that you told them to do a couple weeks ago, tell the story. It looks like they've been listening because here we go. We're doing vignettes.
And not only are they, now he's adopted a last name. They gave him Mahan. Veer Mahan. Usually they're chopping off last names in this company. They add one with him. Even though Veer is actually a cool name by itself.
By itself, yeah, you can get by with Veer. But, yeah, Veer Mahan. So I guess that's what we're rolling with him.
We end up getting a match, Finn Bálor versus Chad Gable, and Graves putting over Gable's academy work, the academic work, and being class valedictorian out of Full Sail University. We get into this match, and towards the end, Gable here, he goes up top, performs a moonsault. Bálor was able to get the knees up, And Bálor was able to sell the bad leg that had been injured from the week before, which I want to say that was from the ladder match.
Yes, it was, yep.
And so we're going back and forth. Bálor, he holds the knee, and then he goes up to the top for his finisher. Gable was able to cut him off. Suplexes him. Bálor then hooks Gable for an inside cradle, got the pin. Otis then runs in. They were both going to jump Bálor, but Bálor was able to quickly escape. This match didn't really go long at all. Maybe about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Not that.
And that's all you need, I think, with this one. I don't know where you're going with this for Finn Bálor. This is a big kind of downgrade unless they're really trying to get Gable. Is this a contract match for Gable because his is coming up? So are they trying to give him? We'll give you some wins over Bálor.
Throw them together, right? I mean, this came out of left field, and the crowd. There's no credibility for Gable, for the crowd to take him seriously, to think that he can actually, and he's got muscle with him. He's got Otis.
Exactly.
So again, that's the new thing in wrestling. The last couple of years, we're putting people back in the habit of having muscle with them at ringside, and they're still losing clean.
Yes. And that was the reason why they have that guy there, to be the distraction, to be the guy that interferes in the match, so the Weasel heel wins the match. And
I seem the only one that they tend to do that with now is AJ Styles with Omos.
Yes.
It seems to be the only.
Yeah. It's the only one. Maybe they're protecting Omos.
I've been wondering what the hell is Commander Aziz still with Apollo Crews for?
I don't know. He just holds that spear or helps them with it. I have no idea what he's out there for either.
We got some highlights that ran from the previous week. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler winning the triple threat to earn a Raw Tag Team title match, then losing to RK Bro later on during the night. We get Riddle. He's shown riding his scooter in the back, and he got stopped by both Roode and Ziggler. They stopped him from telling the cornball jokes and spoke about how they would face the Street Profits. They said that Riddle and Orton could eventually kiss the titles goodbye if they get another title shot. And then the Street Profits made their entrance. We got a video package promoting Titus O'Neil having an elementary school in Florida named after him. And so congratulations to Titus on that. We'd just like to see him. I don't know. I actually like to see Titus back in the ring soon. I'm wondering why. I get it. You want him to be the ambassador and the good, but
maybe that's what it is now, his role. I guess.
Did they just give him that? I mean, based on, once he had his, was that Crown Jewel or was that Australia with the slip
down to the ring? Yes, it was the Crown Jewel.
It's where do you go from there? That's a Shockmaster moment.
It is. So I guess they said the hell.
So you either go on the road or you get booked into a comedy spoof.
Isn't that
what happened to Shockmaster?
Yes.
Uncle
basically.
Fred?
Uncle Fred got into that, yeah.
It got, there's no, anyways. We're going to speed it up a little bit. We got Street Profits versus Roode and Ziggler. We finally get into hour number 3 this match. We get Roode and Ziggler fast-forwarding towards the end. They get Dawkins on the ring side. They run him into a ring post, and Montez Ford was able to perform a flip dive on both opponents on the outside. Ford was able to roll Ziggler back into the ring, set up for his finisher. And then that's when we see Omos because we got both Orton and Riddle. They're coming down for a commentary. So Omos, of course, had to make his appearance. There was no AJ Styles with him. It's Omos by himself, and he distracted Ford. Ziggler was able to pin Ford not too long after that. And then after the match, Dawkins trying to go after Omos. That turned out to be a big mistake as Omos knocked him out. Ford tried to dive over the ring ropes at Omos. He caught him in midair, threw him into a barricade, and then that's when Riddle got up to go after him, and he took Riddle out as well, and then we teased that Orton was going to go after him, but then we eventually cut to footage of Damian Priest beating up T-Bar all of a sudden, so it was a little bit of an awkward ending. I mean, they didn't even have a long stare down between Orton and Omos. It was just Orton took off the shirt, was he was going to go after Omos, and then we just cut to Damian
Graves
Priest.
said something like, Orton just threw a chair, and then they cut to a highlight package, and they didn't show anything else, so it looked like Randy was going to do something, and all of a sudden they told him no.
Looked like a fuck-up from the production team.
Big time.
Kevin Dunn cut the cut the camera a little
and then
too
Corey
soon.
covered for it. Oh, yeah, I was talking about the chair he threw last week because they showed a roll of a chair getting thrown from last week, and they tried to cover it up. But, yeah, something screwed up at the end of that one.
Speaking of Damian Priest, we end up getting that video package of him and T-Bar, and I'm still trying to understand, and my question for you does Vince feel that he's booked Damian Priest to be a little too soft to be a big man? We changed his music the week before. Mm-hmm. The attitude snap against T-Bar, that came out of nowhere. And then we get a backstage segment, Damian Priest talking about a dark side, how he's a nice guy, but if you disrespect him, there's a dark side that he still hangs on to, that he keeps at bay, that will come out, that will lash out. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we get a no DQ match, a non-title match for the U.S. title with him and T-Bar, of all people.
Well, yeah, Vince obviously made him that way, because at NXT, he was the dark, mysterious guy, kind of. You know, he had a little edge to him down at NXT. They brought him up, and yeah, he was the smiley, I'm not going to say Rocky Maivia kind of type, but he was smiley, happy Damian Priest, and he kind of lost some of that edge. He had him in the Bad Bunny thing at Mania, basically, working, and they were just happy, smiley, and yeah, I could see where they're probably like, you got to get some edge back, pal, and the change in the music and all that ain't going to do it. It's just like, go back, tell him, do what you did at NXT, but Vince is so damn afraid of going back to where some of these things were, because that preaches against everything he just tore down months ago.
Yeah. We get to a spot where T-Bar has Priest tied up into the ropes, and then we grab those kendo sticks, baby.
Ah, damn it.
He's got the kendo stick from ringside, start beating him across the chest and the gut repeatedly.
Yeah.
This was nasty, was loud. The crowd was like oohing and ahhing, and T-Bar was just really taking some liberties.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure they probably talked about this before the match, and Priest probably told him, he was probably aware of how many times he was going to get whacked.
Yep.
But eventually, Priest was able to break free from the ropes, caught T-Bar with a kick, then freed himself from the ropes. As I mentioned, he was able to turn him inside out with that clothesline that he's been doing lately. And he ended up grabbing a chair, slammed it over T-Bar's back and side repeatedly, and then eventually chokeslammed T-Bar from the apron through the table on the floor. And then made a pretty sadistic, evil face, and then the crowd chanted one more time. That's how over T-Bar they are. He was eventually able to get T-Bar back into the ring, hit the reckoning, pinned him, and there you go, Damian Priest beating T-Bar. But after the match, it wasn't over. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz, they come out. Crews introduced himself and said they have come to breathe new life into Raw, and said that he and Priest would be properly acquainted soon enough, as he expects Priest to lose the U.S. title to him that Apollo Crews has won before.
Too much going on here. I mean, you're trying to do this. You're trying to do the sadistic Priest deal.
And the only thing that I can think of is that we're doing this because his name is Damian.
That's probably right.
That's the only thing I can think of all this. Why
next
we're
week,
going
if
with
he
the whole
comes
demonic
down with a yellow snake, we just know what the hell Vince is thinking about. I could just see it. He's going to come with a damn sack next week to the ring.
We got an unnecessary backstage segment with John Morrison and Reggie, and then the 24/7 Goons, they show up. We get a Becky Lynch promo that was listed as coming up after a commercial break, and then we got a SmackDown recap video that aired, and that was highlights aired of the Raw Women's Championship match. Lynch, she got interviewed in the back, and she said half the crowd was booing her and accused them of being fickle.
Okay.
She said there was nothing wrong with doing whatever it takes to remain the champ, and she said that it was time for Belair to go to the back of the line, make room for someone new to come up. That's when we see Liv Morgan out of nowhere. She enters the picture, and Lynch looked at her, shrugged the shoulders, walked away. So that's exactly what I probably would have done in a situation like that if I'm Becky Lynch.
That's in catering. That's over there. We'll see. I mean, that's about it you could say about that.
Yeah, we stay backstage. We got a segment of Seth Rollins approaching Kevin Owens about working together, and then Rollins offered Owens the first shot at the title if he wins. So Owens, he started laughing, and Owens said that he didn't think Rollins would like it if he got in his business. Rollins told him just keep fighting like he did when he had lost the four-way ladder match. I'll just keep winning. And then he cackled. That cackle's getting louder and longer every week. All right, so we get into the match. This is a non-title match, of course, Big E and Kevin Owens. We fast forward the match. We got Rollins, who's at ringside on the commentary. And he's still cackling on the mic.
Yep.
We get into this. Fast forward. It's back and forth. High-risk maneuvers being used by both guys. Owens eventually knocks Big E down with a headbutt, and then he goes for a swanton. Second swanton, I might add. Big E was able to put his knees up, and then Owens rolled to the apron. Big E, he speared him through the ropes, and both men, they tumble down to the floor. Rollins, he stands up. He applauds. He's loving this. He's like a pig in slop over this match.
Yeah.
Big E, he rolled Owens back into the ring, powered him up for the finisher, but then Owens slipped off, and then they butted heads. And that's when Rollins decided to stick his nose into the match. He ends up hitting Big E with a cheap shot while the referee was checking on Owens. Owens then covered Big E for a 2 count, and then it was Big E who hooked Owens' arms into a pin and got the 3 count. So Big E getting the win over Kevin Owens to end this show. After the match, we get Big E, who sees the replay on the Jumbotron on the big screen. He called out Owens on trying to take the pin despite seeing what Rollins had did to him. Mm-hmm. This is when Owens got on the mic and told him that he didn't know what Rollins had did to him. Then Owens tried to apologize to Big E, and then said it was all Rollins' fault, called him a stupid son of a bitch, so we got that in there.
Yeah.
And Owens went back to apologizing to Big E, said that he was truly sorry, but it was starting to come off a little condescending.
Yes.
And that was when Big E decided he had enough, and he picked Owens up and put him in the big ending finisher. And Rollins, again, he's cackling. He's smiling about this as he's watching from the stage. And Big E looked down at Kevin Owens and said, I know about you. So he doesn't trust Kevin Owens either based on his history. And then he has a stare down with Rollins. They're talking smack to one another. And that's how we end Monday Night Raw from Providence.
I mean, refreshing matchup and showcasing Big E, giving more, star power to him. Another big win. And like you were saying, too, we didn't fall for the Owens heel turn. Big E, smart thing. He knew it was coming and just hit him with the big ending.
All right, with NXT 2.0 coming off the heels of Halloween Havoc, we're going to keep it real with you. This show sucked.
It sucked. It was terrible. Too many vignettes. And too many of these new people have shows or vignettes. They don't need it.
So there you go. NXT 2.0. We were just not feeling it at all, so we're going to skip that. We've already given you our review of the 3-hour
it was
Raw.
pretty
We think
terrible.
You've had enough punishment.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bush League Mud Show. We're getting ready to slide up out of here. Slade.
PJ.
Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and hit us up on social media at Bush League MS Pod. Later.